win bigly? We're learning about hypnosis superpowers. When I signed up for hypnosis class, I assumed I would use the skill I learned only to perform hypnosis on willing subjects. But it turns out that the biggest benefit of learning hypnosis is what it does to your worldview and how it influences all of your decisions from that point on. Once you see with your own eyes the power of persuasion and how easily people can be reprogrammed, it changes everything you do. For example, if you are familiar with my Dilbert comic strip, you might know that Dilbert has no last name. His boss has no name at all. You don't know the name of Dilbert's company or what industry it's in. You also don't know its location. All of that omission is intentional. It is a trick I learned from a hypnosis class. I leave out any details that would cause readers to feel they are different from the characters in the comic. If Dilbert had a last name, it might tell you something about his ancestry. If you knew for sure that Dilbert's background differed from your own on some big way, it could be an irrational trigger to make you feel less connected. Likewise, if you knew Dilbert's company was in a specific industry that was different from yours, you might feel less connected. By intentionally omitting those details in the design of the Dilbert comic, I make it easier for people to think Dilbert's job is just like mine. So this is persuasion tip number 12. If you want the audience to embrace your content, leave out any detail that is both unimportant and would give people a reason to think, that's not me. Design into your content enough blank spaces so people can fill them in with whatever makes them happiest. Next part is lie detection. An unexpected benefit of learning hypnosis is that I can detect lies with fierce accuracy. Liars usually have tells or clues to signal deception. Some of the tells are in the form of body language and facial micro changes. The same things that a hypnotist learns to detect. Liars also use predictable patterns of language that you can pick up once you know what to look for. For example, if you accuse an innocent person of a crime, the accused generally responds by immediately denying the accusation and asking what is wrong with you for even asking. But the first reaction of guilty people usually is to ask what evidence you have. They need to know that what you know so they can either double down on the lie or confess. Liars confess only if the evidence against them is airtight. Romance. You can't even make someone you love have chemistry if it isn't there. Hypnosis is not that kind of power. But if you have natural chemistry with a person and simply want things to go as well as possible, a working knowledge of hypnosis is immensely useful. Here, I'm not talking about a formal induction in which a hypnotist puts a subject in a so called trance state. If I'm talking only about the knowledge of human nature that you absorb by studying hypnosis, you'll understand. Once you understand people to be irrational 90% of the time, you can give up on your old method of using reason and logic to make someone love you. Love, romance, and sex are fundamentally irrational human behaviors, and it helps to see them that way. For example, a man who thinks humans are rational creatures might try to attract a woman by being extra nice. That seems reasonable because people like nice people more than they like mean people. But seduction wise, niceness is boring, and nice people are a dime a dozen. Niceness can get you only so far. A far better seduction strategy would involve participating in any kind of co ed group activities at which you happen to excel. When you display any kind of talent, it triggers to other humans that you are good for them to mate with. We're biologically hardwired to be attracted to anything that helps the gene pool, and talent is a signal for valuable genes. So instead of being nice, focus on being talented or attractive or smart or muscular or something that suggests that you have good genes. A common misconception is that because nice guys seem to finish last and jerky guys seem to get the women, being a jerk must have some sort of seduction advantage. It doesn't. That's an illusion caused by the fact that people who have other advantages, such as wealth or beauty, have the freedom to act like jerks because they can attract mates no matter what. If you don't understand what motivates people at a deep level, you might be fooled by your observation that jerks often do well in romance. If being mean were useful to getting sex, you would see ugly people doing it more often, with great success. But keep your eyes open and you'll notice that attractive people can get away with being mean and ugly people can't. Attractiveness is a key correlation. The exception to this rule is something called negging. In the language of so called pickup artists, the idea is to say something subversively negative, negging, but not too negative, to a woman to make her less confident. For example, the man might walk up to the woman and ask, "Did you just get your hair done?" Notice that it isn't a compliment and it isn't an insult, but the woman will register it as a criticism because there was no compliment appended to the question. The normal structure of the question would be, "Did you do something with your hair today? It looks great." When you put the compliment in the question, you're using the nice strategy that won't get you far. When you leave out the compliment and ask if the hair is different today, it suggests that perhaps you are not crazy about it. That unspoken put down causes some women, not all obviously, to reframe their situation as a confident male talking to a woman with some unspoken defect. That creates the illusion, or at least the possibility, that the man is a higher social rank. The perceived difference in social rank, illusion though it is, triggers attraction in the woman. In this example, because we are biologically wired to believe that people of higher rank probably have some sort of genetic advantage that got them there. And we want to mate with those people to pass those genes along to the kids. Personally, I have never used negging to attract a woman. By the time I learned of the concept, I was already rich and successful, so I had enough perceived status that I didn't need any tricks. You can reach your own conclusions about the effects or ethics of negging. I'm only including it here for education and completeness. Next one, communicating. After taking the hypnosis class, I became interested in the broader field of persuasion in the normal world. By then, I was working at a large bank that encouraged employees to take a variety of in house classes. I took classes in negotiating, selling, marketing, listening skills, business writing, leadership, public speaking, and more. When you communicate, you are usually trying to persuade, even if you don't see it that way. You might be trying to make someone laugh, persuade someone to buy, cause someone to fall in love, or to stay in love. You might be trying to convey talent or knowledge to a professional contact. At a minimum, most communication involves trying to influence people's opinion of you, even if the content of your message is neutral. So, persuasion and communication overlap quite a bit. If you learn only the tools of communication, the rules for grammar, for example, and you don't learn persuasion, your writing will be weak, or worse, you will make an enormous persuasion mistake and not know it. A good example of an enormous persuasion mistake happened during the Republican primary debate on September 16th, 2015, in Simi Valley, California. Candidate Carly Fiorina tried to cut through the crowded field by graphically describing an alleged video of an abortion that went wrong. I'm intentionally not describing it here. You'll see why. When I watched Fiorina's bold move to capture the nation's attention on a key topic for the Republican base, I publicly predicted that she had self immolated. I called the worst persuasion move you are likely to see in any realm. CNN's poll put Fiorina at 15% during the week of the debate. As I predicted, she dropped to 4% 1 month later and was soon out of the race. If you are not a student of persuasion, you might think Fiorina's strategy was bold and clever. It guaranteed free attention from both the mainstream media and social media, and it positioned her as the strongest voice on a key election topic. It was unforgettable, and it matched the emotions of the Republican base. All of that sounds good. But here's what she got wrong. And this is more wrong than anything you are likely to see in any realm of life, much less politics. Fiorina paired her brand with a dead baby. I knew voters wouldn't want to think about Fiorina's horrible story of a dead baby for 1 second longer than they needed to. I doubt anyone consciously interpreted the situation as I describe it, but humans don't make political decisions for rational reasons anyway. The persuasion filter says Fiorina lost support because she polluted her brand beyond redemption by associating it with the most horrible image one could ever imagine on live television. If you ask the voters who abandoned Fiorina to give reasons for their switch, they would probably tell you, and they would believe it to be true, that they switched to candidates for rational reasons. But according to the persuasion filter, they would be rationalizing their irrational decisions without knowing it. Finding a hypnosis school. By now, some of you are wondering how you can find a hypnosis school of your own. See how I anticipated your question, or at least some people's question? Unfortunately, I can't help you on this question because I have experience with only one hypnosis school and it no longer exists. If you find a hypnosis school locally, be sure to ask for references from past students, but be skeptical of the references for two reasons. Number one, the school will connect you only with students that they know will say good things. And number two, a good hypnotist could give students the impression they got more value than they did. But don't worry too much about that second point. You wouldn't want to learn hypnosis from an instructor who couldn't persuade his own class to give him good reviews. All right, that's the end of part 2. We'll go on to part 3 tomorrow. Like, subscribe, comment. Bye.